Tim and Law like Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. We're going to have a bunch of videos rolling out today. Joe Schoen had his first sit-down interview with Sean O'Hara of the Giants. We're going to post that link also in the comment section below and in the title of this video and stuff like that. I want to talk about that briefly because we're going to also have a recap of the press conference that he has today. I believe it's at 12:30. And also the Sean Payton Effect. Sean Payton, of course, retires from head coaching duties of the Saints. And the world has gone crazy on Twitter, on pretty much for every team that needs a head coach. Joe Schoen, of course, he had his first sit-down interview this morning with Sean O'Hara. It's on the Giants website. I'm never expecting much out of these interviews. I'm never expecting much out of these questions. I'm not expecting anything much out of this press conference, except for people to go, he rocked the press conference. He won the press conference. And we know how that works out. But he did say a couple interesting things. One of the things I found very interesting that he basically said was they're not going to be heavy-handed in free agency. They're not going to spend a ton of money. While, they may spend some cash, that's not how they're going to build this organization. That's actually really what you want to hear. That's something I wanted to hear from day one, that we are not going to try to do a Dallas Cowboy situation where we're retooling on the fly every year by expending exorbitant amounts of money. And I'm not just blaming the Cowboys. A lot of teams do that. But expending exorbitant amounts of money on free agents, that don't work. I think that was a great answer. I think that's the answer you wanted to hear from Shane, that, he wants to build this team from the draft. He wants to build it, from within. He wants to cultivate his talent. I cringed when he talked about culture. And I know I shouldn't, but that's part of the Joe Judge effect. That when anytime you hear the word building, or the words building the right culture, getting guys in here that want to be in here, makes you cringe a little bit when you hear that. But it's like we have coach speak, we have general manager speak, and he wants to bring in the guys that fit his culture and the guys that, are going to fit into the organization, and blase, blah, blah, blah. The same stuff you hear from every candidate, really, or person, with their first interview. But, it's like I said, it just makes you cringe a little bit because of Joe Judge. I think that's the one thing that bothers me a little bit, but that's, it's not a big deal. But he talks about culture. He talks about, how, we need to do things the right way. They did mention him. This would be honestly the first time that he had a plethora of picks so early in the first round. That he didn't mention that they did have 2 first-round picks when they drafted. I think it was Josh Allen. I think Edmonds was the other draft pick they had that year over in Buffalo. Evidently, he was well liked by the players in Buffalo. That players actually seeked him out after the games and such things. So, he seems to be a player's guy. And I thought that would be what we wanted. A guy that's going to get involved. He's going to get along with the players. He's going to get involved with the players. He's going to feel like he's not only a part of the head coaching, or not the head coach, I should say the front office, but that he is a champion from the players as well. You never really heard a bad word about him out of Buffalo. So, like I said, it was a good sit down. He's very articulate. He more low key. And like I said, go watch the interview. Well, watch this and then go watch the interview. I'll post a link. But go watch the interview. He's very low key. He doesn't come off like, the one thing I will say this right off the bat, he doesn't come off like Dave Gettleman. He doesn't come off like Joe Judge. I didn't walk away from this first interview with Sean O'Hara and go, yikes, like I did with Joe Judge. So I think that, he's going to do what he wants to do. He talks about the fact that Sean O'Hara even brought up the fact, though, during the head coaching process, because he mentioned that he's been interviewing head coaches for the last 5-6 days. He says Shane said during the interviewing process that, he's going to be doing his due diligence if they go with a candidate, of course, that he does not have knowledge of or direct working relationship with. So take that for what it's worth. You all figure it's going to be Brian Dable's job. We all kind of think that's happening. I've said it a million times before. Flores is if you can't get Jimmy H, Flores is my guy. I want an experienced head coach. I want a guy that can come in here. I know people will point out to his losing record and never making the playoffs and all the problems that he has with the general manager and ownership and Tua. He's still my guy. He's a guy that I feel can help the organization. He can mold the organization. He's a no nonsense guy. I think it'll be great. He's a New Yorker. I think it'll be great with the media. But you know what? If we get Brian Dable, you know what? That's Shane's choice, and we have to just kind of wait and see what happens. I do get worried that a lot of Daboll's success has been attributed to or a part of Josh Allen's success. If you look outside his success outside of Josh Allen, it's not the greatest track record in the world. So we have to make sure that he is not just riding the Josh Allen train. Speaking of head coaches really quick, Sean Payton, of course, came out and retired abruptly. Not really abruptly. He's been talking about it for a while. You see Giant fans, Cowboy fans, and other fans going crazy. We have to get him. We have to get him. He's still under contract through 2024. Even though he's retired, he's still under contract through 2024. So you would still need to trade with the Saints to get him. My only concern is if we had a head coaching candidate, does not name Brian Daboll, who is looking into a position, an interesting position, it would be a guy, to me, it would be a guy like, the place to go would be with the Saints. I think the Saints would be a great opportunity for any head coach to come into. So does this affect the Giants in any way? I don't think so. Leslie Frazier is already getting a second interview with the Giants. That's coming up, I think. That's coming up on Friday. So since we're definitely not going to hear anything about it, we're not going to hear anything about a hiring until probably next week. Because like I said, they're interviewing the 62-year-old Frazier. We also have Flores coming in. We already interviewed with Dan Quinn. We've already interviewed with the guy over in the defense coordinator in Cincinnati. So we're probably not going to get any answer to earliest the weekend, but I doubt it. They'll probably want to do it on a news cycle. But I don't think it really affects the Giants search at all, unless you're looking at an outside candidate like Flores. If I was Flores, I would run down. I would run down. I'd run down to New Orleans. That's what I would do. But that's just me. So we have to wait and see. We'll have the press conference. We'll do a little bit of stuff for the press conference afterwards. Talk about how he rocked it. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you could like, you subscribe, bring the big news. That'd be awesome.